back to my channel. One of my biggest passions as a wife and a mother and a homemaker is collecting a beautiful home on a budget. With that said, I'm not always looking for things. The things that I'm going to be sharing with you today, I wasn't necessarily looking for, but I am so grateful that they came across my path. I am so excited to share with you some simple ways that you can DIY and upcycle things that you find, and hopefully this video will give you some ideas of things that maybe you stumble upon that maybe you perhaps have overlooked before, or think that just because it doesn't cost a lot of money that it's not good quality. I hope that today's video proves you wrong. I hope it encourages you to keep your eyes peeled, your heart open for opportunities when they arise. With that said, let's get into the video. The first thrift find that I want to share with you is this beautiful vintage Croc that I picked up at the flea market about a month ago. I remember walking by and I saw this from afar and I instantly fell in love with the color. One of the things that I keep an eye out for my home is these vintage Crocs. I use them for planters, I use them for storage, I use them for functional decor. I believe that the seller was originally asking for 15. And I think my husband ended up just offering him 10. It has a couple chips on the rim here and here, and it has this glazed discoloration on the back side. Now, although I feel like we slightly overpaid for this item, I want to show you something that I thought of, a way that you can take these imperfections, take these chips that you might find in your vintage Crocs, and make them work for you, make them look intentional. Most of these vintage Crocs, you can see lots of discoloration. In fact, that's one of the things that we look for. That's one of the things that gives it character. And I love this crack here on the rim that has that brownish aged tinge to it. However, this one you can tell that is much lighter. So what I ended up doing is I ended up taking some stain that I had on hand. Gel stain actually would probably work way better for this. I actually still might go back over this with my gel stain that I have, just because that will apply much more like a paint finish and probably stick much better. I ended up just taking some stain that I had on hand and painting that on to see if the stone would soak it up, and it did. So you can actually see a little bit of the corner. That is what the original color of the stone was, and this is what it looks like now with the stain. So like I said, these are just things that I would probably keep an eye out for if I were the one inspecting the Crocs that I'm looking to buy. But like I said, I sent my husband to go look at it and grab it for me. With the imperfections, I probably would have offered, a little bit less, but all in all, I'm very grateful. I think it was worth the money, and it has worked perfectly as a planter up in my sunroom reading nook. You might have noticed the tinfoil that I have in the bottom. This is what I do for my Crocs that I am using as planters. If I don't have a saucer or a plastic liner that fits, I just use aluminum foil. I just line the bottom, shape it to the bottom of the Croc, and I think it works perfectly. Again, another affordable way for you to line your planters. The next item that I am so excited to show you is this beautiful Italian gilded shelf. Like I said, I wasn't necessarily looking for this shelf, but I have been thinking that I would love some sort of a corner shelf in my laundry room. I can place a vase on top, some decor to kind of brighten up the space, but that way I'm not relying on my stool to be the pedestal. I can just have the stool there for function. And I saw that my favorite vintage seller had another gilded shelf. I knew I had to grab it, and she ended up giving me a deal because I'm a regular customer. Share some footage. This actually was silver when I got it, but to match my other gilded shelf that I have in my living room, I decided to give this a little makeover and to paint it gold. I used a combination of spray paint, which I did on the back side, and then gold rub and buff, and I think it came out so beautifully. You can see the marking there where it says Italy, and it's absolutely gorgeous. Again, something that I wasn't necessarily hunting for, looking for, very unexpected, but when things arrive, seize the opportunity, and I'm so glad that I did that with this. I'm going to show you a couple different ways I ended up styling this shelf, and I need your help. If you think that this mirror that I already had in place, if it works with the gold of the shelf. It's not important. I know that it doesn't really matter. I'm not going to run out and just replace the mirror, but I do want to know. I am wondering if something more natural, like a wood mirror, would look maybe better, or a rounded mirror. So let me know in the comments what you think. If you think I should leave the mirror, or do you think that I should just keep an eye out? If something comes up, should I replace it with something round and more rustic? This is probably going to seem intentional, but the next item that I have is this beautiful, huge stool. That is a 30-inch stool that I found on Facebook Marketplace. When I found the shelf for the laundry room, I realized that what I actually would really love was a taller stool. The stool that I originally had, I think, was about 22 inches. And once I had the shelf in place, I realized that the stool seemed a little bit too short. Again, this is just preference, it's aesthetic, it doesn't really take away from the function of the stool, but I've been wanting more stools for around my home, and I instantly realized that that stool would work so well up in my loft where I do my propagations, where I have my reading nook. And so I can use that stool as a small side table, and it just works so beautifully with all of the wood elements that I have already up there. So when I was on Facebook Marketplace around the same time that I found the shelf, I saw this stool. Originally, the stool was marked for $30. Considering the condition of it, which it's absolutely stunning. I love the finish. I think it's a little on the warm side, but again, it goes perfectly with my home. I love the original rustic condition of the legs. The seat is solid, but I love that it's 30 inches because it's taller, it fits the space better, and it just gives me, again, more function. And if ever at any point I don't need it in that space anymore or want it in that space anymore, I have so many options of where I could put this throughout my home, have it serve a different function. And again, if I ever wanted to resell it, it's in beautiful condition. So I ended up getting the stool for $20, which I thought was a really great price, and I'm just so happy with how it turned out. So you'll have to let me know what you think and what your thought is, because I would love to hear. My next item is a super fun find, actually something that I have been wanting for so long, and it is this ice cream or cookie scoop. It has this very, substantial wooden handle. It has this very, very old lever, but it works beautifully. I actually found this at a antique shop a couple towns over, one that I had never been to before, and the boys and I just happened to stop in for the first time, and this actually was marked for $20. I saw that they had another one there as well that was a little bit bigger, and it was all like stainless steel metal, but I didn't like the that one seemed to be a little bit too stiff when I went to use it, and also I didn't really want one that large. This one is just perfect. I didn't want to have to stress about it not actually fitting with everything that I already have. Although I don't consider myself a true minimalist, I do like to keep things simple and tidy, and if I'm not going to use it, I don't want it around. I don't want it in my drawers. I don't like to keep extra utensils like that. This was my only purchase that day. This was something I was actually going to ask for Christmas because I've been wanting one for so long, just to have something to scoop out for cookies or ice cream. So I love that it can be used for both, and I didn't have to wait for Christmas. I just love it. If you have any tips for how I can clean this to see if I could get some of the wear off there, I don't even know what you would call it. If you have any good tips on that, please let me know in the comments. And the last and most unexpected find that I want to share with you is this chest. This chest, you guys. I found this on the side of the road, literally moments before trash pickup. A couple weeks ago on my way home from dropping my son off at his homeschool co-op, and I happened to drive by this woman's house where she had all of her trash out. They told me they actually are pickers, so I pulled into her driveway and she comes running out saying, you know, honey, do you want that? And I was like, I think I do. Because again, like, I don't like to just grab things just to grab them, but when I saw this chest on the side of the road, I saw the brass handles on the side, the size of it. I mean, God, you can't get something even half this size from like Hobby Lobby or TJ Maxx for anywhere less than like $70. We used to have a chest that I had previously that we used for toys in the living room, but from the boys over time, it just got destroyed. So I've been using a couple different baskets to keep all the boys' toys. That's what I instantly thought of when I saw this, was like, maybe that could be some toy storage or even blanket storage, stuffy storage in my son's room. I haven't quite decided what I want to do with it yet because I'm just so proud of it now. When I first got it, you could see it was definitely in rough condition and definitely needed some reinforcement. My husband was so kind to actually help me with this, and he put in some new reinforcements in the lid, and he screwed them in with some pocket holes. That's really the biggest thing that it needed. The bottom was solid, the handles were solid, the hinge on the insides were broken, and I still haven't quite found one big enough to replace it. I actually ordered some already for $8 on Amazon, and they were just a little too small, but I ended up giving this thing good cleaning, and I let it sit out in the sun and dry. And then when it was done, I took my dark stain and I went over the whole thing and gave it a fresh coat, and I let that dry really good because I had to stain the inside wood anyway. I spray painted on some clear coat, let that dry, and now the thing looks brand spanking new. Still can't believe that this woman was about to throw this away. Like, it was literally moments away from being picked up by the trash truck. I feel really good about that this is not sitting in the landfill somewhere, but it's something that either I'm going to use or I can sell it and I can find a home for someone else that is going to use it. This was completely unexpected. I had no idea that this was going to come home with me. I wasn't really searching for this. It wasn't something I desperately needed, but that's one of the things that I love about thrifting and antiquing and collecting a home, is because you never know what you're gonna find. You never know when you're gonna find it, and you have to have that patience. You have to have that creativity and ability to see beyond the surface and see the potential instead. I hope that you enjoyed this little thrift haul. I hope it inspires you and gave you some ideas of things and places that you can keep an eye out for things. Like, you never know when you're gonna find something, and you do not need to spend a lot of money. I also hope it encourages you to invest where it is that you see value. No, I didn't need the Gilded corner shelf. I didn't need the Croc. But if these are things that are going to bring you joy, are going to serve a purpose in your home, function in your home, and bring you satisfaction and fulfillment in your role as a homemaker, I want to give you permission to invest where it is that you see value. Invest where you see joy. Please let me know in the comments what you think about the chest. Do you think I should keep it? Do you think I should sell it? What would you use it for in your home? And what you think about the laundry room layout. I would love to hear what you think. And if you haven't already, make sure you give this video a thumbs up, subscribe. I would love to have you. I post new videos every week on motherhood, homemaking, and intentional living. Until next time, my loves. Bye.